Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Today is Tuesday, July 13th. Thank you for joining me for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Happy to be back with you after the day off yesterday. I was feeling a little under the weather, but I'm back and ready to share these stories with you today. So thank you for joining me. First up, we have a first on 3 story from our investigative reporter, Mark Namick. We're learning that Governor Mike DeWine is involved in the negotiations to keep the tribe here in Cleveland at Progressive Field. Governor DeWine said that Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson and Cuyahoga County Executive Armand Budish asked him months ago to help fill in a financing deal in order to renovate the aging Progressive Field and keep the tribe playing here at the ballpark, which opened here in Cleveland back in 1994. Now, DeWine wouldn't go into specifics of the lease negotiations, but he did say negotiations are going well and that he won't be asking lawmakers for money unless the team commits to a long-term lease. Sources tell 3 News that the governor is offering to seek $30 million to be allocated over 15 years and that those negotiations include 2 5-year extensions, which would keep the team here for a total of 25 years. Now, Ohio lawmakers would have to approve any taxpayer money directed to the deal, and Governor DeWine says this is a worthy investment for Northeast Ohio. But any money from the state will only be a small portion of public money that would likely be tied to what would be a major renovation, which is something the team owners, the Dolan family, are looking for. DeWine said the Dolan family is a great family and they want to keep the team here in Cleveland. There's no indication that they want to move. That's in line with public comments that we've seen the Dolans make before. One of those comments referring to the potential new name for the team being that Cleveland is the most important part of that name. Now, we do know that the tribe's lease at Progressive Field ends at the end of the 2023 season, so time is definitely of the essence. In more sports news, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith is apologizing after his comments related to Shohei Ohtani and his use of an interpreter. The ESPN talk show commentator apologized after making remarks on First Take criticizing his use of an interpreter. It was on Monday night when Shohei Ohtani became the first Japanese-born player in the home run derby in Major League Baseball. Tonight, he'll bat first for the American League, and he'll also take the mound pitching first. Now, he leads the league in home runs right now at the All-Star break with 33 home runs, and he's basically taking over baseball. Stephen A. Smith on First Take on Monday, though, debated whether it was good for baseball to have Ohtani be the league's top star, arguing that it is, according to Stephen A. Smith, bad for the game that the face of baseball is using an interpreter to speak with reporters and media members. Here's what Stephen A. Smith said. This is a direct quote from him. I understand that baseball is an international sport itself in terms of participation, but when you talk about an audience gravitating to the tube or to the ballpark to actually watch you, I don't think it helps that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter so you can understand what he's saying in this country. Now, he apologized on Twitter on Monday, saying he should have embraced the positive difference that Ohtani is making in baseball and in all sports, and that his comments were unintentionally insensitive. Now, here's some stats about Ohtani in case you're not familiar. He's the first player in 100 years to start a game as a pitcher while leading the league in home runs. He's struck out more batters than any other player to ever hit 25 home runs in a season, and he's hit more home runs than any other player to start more than 10 games at pitcher in a season. Also, a little bit of context here, it's not the first time that the most alluring player in baseball has used an interpreter. It definitely won't be the last. It's a massively international sport, and a majority of stars in the game, both historically and today, were not born in the United States. Bringing it back to Ohio, President Joe Biden is expected to hold a town hall event in southern Ohio next week. He will be in Cincinnati on Wednesday, July 21st, taking part in a CNN town hall. Now, this is as President Biden reaches his 6-month milestone in office. The town hall event will be hosted by Don Lemon and will focus on a wide range of issues facing the nation, including COVID-19, the economy, other key initiatives, including voting rights, infrastructure, immigration, and police reform. A CNN spokesperson said it's an invitation-only audience at the town hall. The network will follow all local and state COVID-19 guidance, and the destination information will be forthcoming. As soon as we have that information, we will be sure to share that with you. Now it's Tuesday, so let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers across the world, the country, and here in Ohio. Here's the information we have to share today. Globally, the total number of COVID-19 cases, according to Johns Hopkins University, is at 187,512,171. The total number of cases here in the U.S. make up 18.1% of those cases, with 33,895,493. Globally, the total number of deaths is now over 4 million at 4,043,963. Here in the U.S., we have 15% of those COVID-19 deaths with 607,523. In Ohio, we are now at 20,411 reported COVID-19 deaths. That's 67 more than when we checked in on those numbers a week ago. And in the last day, the Ohio Department of Health has reported 344 new COVID-19 cases. Now, when you think about all of those numbers and the many things that people are dealing with, you may not be surprised to learn that Cleveland ranks as the most stressed city in America, according to a new study by WalletHub. The study says that no city in America is having a more difficult time handling stress in 2021 than Cleveland. This is comparing 180 cities across the U.S. using 41 key metrics across 4 dimensions. The key target areas are work stress, financial stress, family stress, and health and safety stress. So the numbers that they're looking at include COVID-19 cases to average weekly work hours, to divorce and suicide rates. Now, Cleveland was number 1 in financial stress and family stress, and number 3 in health and safety stress. Cleveland was number 1 in poverty rate as well as divorce rate, plus number 2 in lowest average hours of sleep per night. That's an interesting conversation to have, something we'll be addressing soon on the 3 Things to Know podcast. Now, a recent study on stress by the American Psychological Association found that more than 6 in 10 adults have undesired weight changes since the start of the pandemic, also a symptom of stress, and that 1 in 4 essential workers have been diagnosed with a mental health disorder. The top 5 most stressed cities, according to this WalletHub study: Cleveland at number 1, Detroit at number 2, New Orleans at number 3, Baltimore at number 4, and then Newark, New Jersey at number 5. The least stressed city in America, according to the survey, is South Burlington, Vermont. And if you're wondering how other cities stacked up here in Ohio, at number 20, Toledo, number 22, Akron, number 26, Cincinnati, pretty high there for those cities, and then number 83, Columbus. Which brings me to my next topic of imposter syndrome, which is definitely something that can be a source of stress. That's the topic of conversation on this week's 3 Things to Know podcast. I talked with Cleveland Clinic psychologist Dr. Adam Borland about what imposter syndrome is, how it's an impending feeling of failure and where those feelings come from, and most importantly, how to move past those feelings. You can find that at wkyc.com/3 things to know, and also on every single podcast platform, as well as the WKYC YouTube page. For a lot of people, stress relief comes in the form of reality television, and we have an update on our Akron Michael Allio, who has been on The Bachelorette. He has gotten another rose from the Bachelorette, Katie Thurston. He is now one of 7, just 7 from that starting group of guys who are still in the running to potentially become Katie Thurston's future husband. Now, we didn't see much of him on last night's episode of The Bachelorette on ABC, but we did see what mattered. At the beginning of the episode, Katie Thurston is telling the co-hosts, Caitlin Bristow and Tasia Adams, how Michael Allio continues to be someone who has made an impact on her. We don't get to see them talk on their group date, and we don't get to see them talk at the cocktail party because Katie cancels the cocktail party before the rose ceremony, which is the elimination ceremony. But we do see her offering Michael a rose, and he accepts it, which makes him one of just 7 left vying for the love of Katie Thurston. We will continue to follow that and see what happens next week with your recap right here on 3 News Now and on WKYC.com. And the Emmy nominations came out today, and of course, as always, there were surprises and snubs. Here's a couple of the highlights. Pose ended up with several Emmy nominations. Now, this is that groundbreaking FX show about ballroom culture in the 80s and the 90s. It just ended its 3rd and final season with Emmy nominations for Billy Porter and MJ Rodriguez, who is the first trans woman up for a major acting Emmy, and the Best Drama Series nomination, which is its 2nd time being nominated for that. Lupin, Netflix's surprise French hit, was ignored at the Emmy nominations. Now, this is something that has been compared in terms of cultural significance in France to Sherlock Holmes and Robin Hood. So a lot of significance there. And it really kind of catapulted on Netflix's top watch shows. It was on Netflix's #1 spot in its top 10 rankings across the globe, but no Emmy nomination there. I May Destroy You, which was ignored by the Golden Globes, actually earned 9 Emmy nominations. This is Michaela Coel's exploration of rape and its aftermath and exploring consent in a modern world. There are 12 half-hour episodes that you can check out on that. And of course, Bridgerton, Shonda Rhimes' first scripted series for Netflix, came away with 12 Emmy nominations today, including Best Drama Series. Now, for more snubs and surprises, check out that story on WKYC.com. And if you're a fan of the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad, you'll be happy to know that the iconic nickel-plated steam locomotive will be returning in September. It's number 765. Now, this is something they try to bring back every single year. They weren't able to do it last year because of the pandemic, but it's back now. It'll be in September. You can book rides on September 3rd, the 10th through the 12th, and the 17th through the 19th. If you're a member of the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad, you'll be able to get those tickets starting Friday, but the general public tickets become available next Tuesday on July 20th. One more thing to tell you about before we go here. There's always some kind of weird flavor of something coming out, right? Well, today it's a Kraft Macaroni and Cheese flavor of ice cream. This is a partnership between Kraft Macaroni and Cheese and the Brooklyn, New York-based Van Leeuwen Ice Cream Company. Now, of course, we're not in Brooklyn, New York, but if you do want to try this treat, you'll be able to get it online. That's starting tomorrow, July 14th. It will go on sale at 11 a.m. Eastern Time for $12 a pint. Not exactly a cheap snack. Emily Violet, who is the Senior Associate Brand Manager for Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, says that they know that there's nothing more refreshing on a hot summer day than ice cream, so they wanted to combine two of the most iconic comfort foods to create an ice cream with the unforgettable flavor of Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. Quite the interesting combination. I don't know that I'll be signing up to try that, but if you do, let me know. Send me a tweet of you ordering your ice cream, and when you get it, I would love to see your reaction. So if you can record a video of yourself trying the Kraft Macaroni and Cheese ice cream, send that our way, and we'll have to put that online and on the air, because I am sure that will be very interesting to see. That's it for your 3 News Now update today for Tuesday, July 13th. I'll see you next up on What's New with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment, and I will see you back here tomorrow for more 3 News Now.